Hello, my name is Blue Orange 22, and I'm a men's rights activist, aka MRA. And I'd like to extend this video to feminists and ask you, how does it make you feel? When you find out someone's a men's rights activist, what are some of the perceptions you have of that person? Like, what's your gut instinct to finding out someone is an MRA? Because I had kind of an interesting experience in London today, and I'll cut a long story short. I basically met these two guys on the street, um, and there was a brief kind of conversation where they implied that they were feminists, and I showed them that I was a men's rights activist and my channel, and there was kind of a very reserved, but not exactly tense conversation, but just sort of like oh, okay, this person's an MRA, and they didn't really know how to react, and they were friendly enough guys, and so it was just kind of a very brief encounter. I'll do a breakdown of the story more, if you want, but it kind of made me think, how would this channel come across if you are a feminist learning about the men's rights movement? Because something I always preach is how I try and be a moderate voice of the men's rights movement. And I don't want to be anti-feminist because I'm against the idea of feminism. Yes, there are videos such as this morning that I made that criticize feminists. But how does my channel really come across? If I'm trying to sell myself to feminists and I'm trying to get feminists to embrace at least giving the perspective of men's rights a fair shot, maybe kind of, give us a chance to make our case, and you scroll down my videos and you see all of these videos that are directed towards feminism or criticizing feminists, is that really going to kind of build a middle ground? And I'm reminded of the very first video that I made. Off the top of my head, I'll put it down below. It's this one, Feminists versus Men's Rights Activists, What is the Middle Ground? And that's kind of how I wanted the video, the channel to kind of be. A sort of like voice of reason in the middle, kind of offering an olive branch to feminists and really kind of see like what middle ground do we have? Because I've always said before, if you took 100 men's rights activists off the street and 100 feminists off the street, I bet you for the most part we would get along on a lot of things and we would agree on a lot of basic core values. Where the disagreements may come in is what are the causes of inequality? So MRAs might say it's because of male disposability, and feminists might say it's because of patriarchy, and we really kind of developed this us versus them mentality. So I may tell you the story of exactly what happened today in London that kind of made this whole interaction occur, but I thought about doing something maybe a little bit different tomorrow. I'm going to go out with some flyers and I'm going to post them around London, and I'm going to engage feminists to kind of ask me anything as a men's rights activist. And that's maybe try and open some dialogue between feminists and MRA. So let me show you the flyers here that I've made and I'm going to be putting out tomorrow. So very simple. I've just made two. This one says, "Hello, I'm a men's rights activist, MRA. What do you feel about men's rights? Feel free to ask any questions." And then YouTube, and then, my contact info. And then this one over here, "There should be more dialogue between feminists and men's rights activists. If we both want equality, let's work together to find more middle ground." And just kind of basic, simple messages. There's no big, long preamble. It's just straight to the point. So if I hit the streets of London tomorrow and I kind of hand these out, or I kind of post these up on the tube or on telephone poles, I wonder what kind of reactions this is going to get. So I'm just going to try it. And make no mistake, I'm a men's rights activist, not a feminist. So I do agree with the men's rights perspective and worldview. And yes, there are many videos in my TikTok and YouTube that are very critical of certain feminist organizations and certain feminist figures and things that they've done and they've said. And this is by no means saying that I don't think there's a problem within feminism, because I do think there is a lot of toxicity and anti-male sentiment and even anti-male hatred within feminism. But that doesn't mean I think that we should treat all feminists as automatically the bad guys, because I do think there's a lot of people who are genuinely decent people who call themselves feminists. The two guys I met today in London who identified as feminists, or they didn't quite identify as feminists. I'll get into the whole story in a little bit, but they kind of implied that they were feminists and that they were a little bit taken aback that I was an MRA. But I could kind of get the sense that, they seem like pretty normal guys. And they seem like people that if I were to sit down, at a pub and have a few drinks with, we'd realize that, we're really kind of on the same page about a lot of things. And I think it's a shame that we've been sort of driven into this us versus them mentality to the point where, we're almost taken aback where we meet an MRA or a feminist or a Trump supporter or a Democrat or whatever it is. And it's like, he doesn't seem so bad for a feminist, or she doesn't seem so bad for a feminist, or he doesn't seem so bad for a Trump supporter, or whatever it is, and it's like we're surprised that like regular people can be on the so-called other side because we're so conditioned to see the other side as this terrible enemy. So anyway, tomorrow I'm going to hit the streets of London with those flyers. Maybe I'll make some more. Maybe I'll just post them up. Maybe I will hand them to people and make a video of it, and maybe post it online and just kind of see how it goes. So, yeah.